Hey guys, what's up? This Mustang's Boot Guy X. Welcome back to Beamng.Drive with some more RallyCross. No, you are seeing this right. This is a hill climb car going down a RallyCross course because I am a maniac. Now, this first run, I knew I couldn't go flat out on the hill, so I braked a little late, and I actually managed to make the jump quite nicely. But, that kind of set the tone because if you saw how much it bounced up, that's not good. So I braked where I normally brake. That's not good. Don't brake there, because you'll have problems. I mean, the car still works, just about, as in, it can only turn right, can't really turn left, I'm full lock to the left. So, yeah, can't really turn left. And these cars, well, as you might expect, they don't exactly take on the course very well. Especially the front splitter, which, as you saw, exploded as soon as I hit the dirt section. And then I might have got a little bit of wheel spin and rolled it. Yeah. But you can see the damage done just to the front of the vehicle from those two hits. Yeah, causes these cars took a lot of damage going down this course. Gradually, I got better at it. I got better at driving the Beamng. But, yeah, you had to take this nice inside line in order not to destroy the front splitter completely. Carried quite a lot of speed. And blew the back end up. Didn't really want to turn. Had massive problems with that. And you can see the damage done by that jump. So, yeah, we had lots of problems with those two jumps. But eventually, after I think like 10 minutes, I finally got these cars to have a clean run. Took a very long time and lots of effort. On this one, the wing, the front splitter, might have had problems. Now, that, I'm not sure how the aerodynamics work in this game. I think that actually does affect the car's handling a little bit, but you don't really have much of an option. You'll fall. I think I had one run where the vehicle's front splitters didn't fall off, and I immediately rolled it on the jump afterwards. So, yeah, these vehicles are surprisingly rolly, not because of their high center of gravity or anything, but solely because when they bounced up in the air. And then they got grip, and then, since they were on their side, they got grip, and over they go. And then we floor it across the line, and we try to stop, lock up the brakes, and go on a little bit of an adventure. Somehow, the wing stayed intact, and the front bumper stayed intact. The only actual damage that I noticed was the front splitter exploding. So, pretty good showing from the Beamng, considering it is a hill climb car. But it did have massive problems with the dirt. Okay, next up was the Sunburst hill climb car, with an even bigger wing and even bigger front aero package. Because, of course, you need that. And also, it's a lot faster. Now, I was expecting this to be a little bit better because of its rallying pass. Because this is a slightly more rally car-based thing than the Beamng. And I was expecting this to do a little bit better than the Beamng. Might have carried too much speed across the jump. And, we had problems. This is also the first time the fuel tank has ruptured on this rally course. So you land the jump, hit the fuel tank, and there's lots of fire now. I think the only part that's not on fire is the driver's part. Which I guess is lucky for him, but he's still in the middle of a burning inferno. So as you may guess, this car is very, very fast. And is able to deal with that power surprisingly well. Unfortunately, I got it wrong on the first corner. Didn't turn in a little bit too soon. And had a problem. Had a very big problem. Yeah, that crash wasn't quite as big, or it wasn't quite as soon as the Barstow. No, it was the Moonhawk that crashed on the start line, essentially. So, yeah, not quite as soon, but, yeah, Now, I think the most interesting thing about this car, besides the fact that I hit a rock and almost had problems but I didn't, is how sturdy the aero packages were. Now, I may have outbraked myself, but the splitter didn't come off until that point, which means the aero packages were very, very durable on this car. And on to the completed run for the Sunburst. Not too bad car, considering it is a hill climb car going down a rallycross course. But, yeah. Now, I carried a lot of speed on that jump. I don't know how I managed to get away with that much speed, but I just about did. We had some steering damage. It pulled a little bit to the left, as you can see here, but I was able to continue on. Now, I didn't want to get airtime after that because I saw how damaged the steering was from that first jump, so I want to keep my steering intact so I can make it around the corners fine. And sure enough, we just about made it down the course with broken steering and a slightly worse for wear front end. But we just about made it down the course. I really struggled with understeer on that second to last corner before we go across the final corner, booted across the line, and we try to stop and we go in the exact same spot, and the front end is not very happy anymore. The front end has seen better days on this vehicle. I mean, it still drives, and we still have the giant wing on the back, but, yeah, the Sunburst has looked better. Has looked better. And finally, the king of them all, in terms of the hill climb cars, the SBR4, with the biggest splitter I've seen, and not the biggest wing, I've seen bigger wings, but a dinner table on the back, that's what I'm going to call it, it's a dinner table on the back. I was not expecting this to do very well just because of the ground clearance. Now, one thing that did surprise me, besides the entire bumper falling off, is the, lack of traction. You would think this vehicle has incredible traction for being four-wheel drive. And probably big tires, I would hope so. No, it has terrible traction. And I might have got the braking, point wrong again. Didn't quite burst into flames like the Sunburst, but we did keep the wing in a roll, so that's pretty darn impressive. Yeah, the SBR4 struggles getting its power down. You can see there has so much power. Even with four-wheel drive, it wants to slide around. And I run the banking, lose every bit of bumper on my car, but I did manage to keep it under control somehow. I don't know how I did that, but I did. Had lots of problems with the wheel spin, and then I slammed it head-on into a wall because of the wheel spin. Now, since the engine is in the back, we were still able to drive. Unfortunately, we could only turn right. Yeah, the SBR4 wasn't too happy about that crash. Yeah, my number one problem with this vehicle was simply keeping control of it. It wasn't even so much the bumps or anything, because that's going to be a problem in all the vehicles, but driving this car without getting too much wheel spin was incredibly difficult, and keeping it under control while doing it was even more. Around these hills and everything, it was ridiculously difficult. I did just about manage to get it stopped for the corner, and we are dragging the bumper along for the ride. It's still just about intact, the bumper, hanging on by a thread, but we did manage, with a little bit of understeer and basically point and squirt, we did manage to get the car down the run without having too many problems, and the bumper did begin to reattach itself. We clipped the wall, but we did manage to cross the line without losing any time, and then we had a slight problem as we crossed the line and smacked it into a wall at very high speeds. Not the biggest crash, that still goes to the bar stow, which, I think it was the bar stow that launched off the cliff there and flew all the way to the tower. So that was pretty impressive. Yeah. The cars didn't fare, in terms of damage, didn't fare too well around this course, as you might expect. And despite all their problems with this course, every single hill climb car will go into the top 3. And first place will go to the Sunburst with a 51.082. Almost got it into the 50 seconds. I'm not sure if we'll see any car get below 50, but you never know, But these cars were mighty fast. And second place will go to the SBR4 with a 51.092, less than a hundredth of a second behind the Sunburst. And finally, in third place, the slowest car of the day, I say the slowest, the Beamng will go into third place. Respectable time of a 51.391. Yeah, I think what it was that the Sunburst was the best because it was a more rally-style vehicle. The SBR4 was second, probably because of its just sheer power. And then the Beamng just wasn't quite capable of keeping up with these vehicles because they are monumentally fast on track. And although they struggle with the bumpy sections, they do have enough speed and cornering to get them into the top 3. But hey guys, that's it for this episode of Beamng.Drive. Back with more.